I'm going to show you the simplest way to exercise your legs. This is extremely easy. It probably costs you about $15 on Amazon to get an actual gym ball if you want to use this. I'm in my office and it's 7:30 in the morning. I'm going to ride my bike later, but I'm going to do a quick training session just to do some strength training to pre-fatigue my muscles before my bike ride later today. And this is something that you could use yourself. It's something that anyone can do. It doesn't take a long period of time. So let me set some things up and I'll show you how this is done. Okay, number one, I'm going to do lunges. If you cannot do lunges, simply do body weight squats like this. But I'm going to do one leg at a time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my shoes so my feet can slide. Some people will do lunges where they go forward like this. I don't find that very beneficial. In fact, it starts to bother the tendons of my knees. So everyone's different. Everyone's got different old histories of injuries and stuff. So I like lunges where I go backwards. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my foot backwards and then pull myself up with my thigh and my adductors, and this is a very good exercise. So let's go ahead and do this. Make sure you can see me. All right, here we go. So I'm just gonna go down real slow, and you can see my feet sliding down. And I do this nice and slow and controlled. So I just count 2 on the right, and then I do whatever is on the left. So that's how I keep track of how many numbers I'm gonna do. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, I think that's 7, right? 8, 9, 10, okay? So basically I'm just gonna go until I feel a nice good pump. It's 11. It's 12. 13. Never stop on 13. It's bad luck. Now we got 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. Now, I'm starting to feel it, so now what I'm going to do to make it harder is I'm going to go real slow on the last 5 reps. So I'm just going to go down, and that's 1. That's how I remember now. 21. This would be 22. That's 23. 4. 25. Make this one count. Okay, that's pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a gym ball and I'm going to show you now how we work the hamstrings and the glutes. Now here's where you need to get something like a gym ball. These are extremely useful. They're very, very cheap. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. I'm an Amazon affiliate, but you can get them anywhere that you want, a sporting goods store. And this is a very effective way to work your hamstrings without going to a gym, very little money. Now what I'm gonna do, so I can get a good grip on the gym ball, is I'm going to take my socks off, because your nice, stinky, sticky feet will grip the ball really nice. And what I'm gonna do is lie down on my back. I'm gonna hold on to the ball here, gripping the ball with my feet. And a little trick, because this does bother people's neck, is I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades together, and that'll help protect my neck. I'm going to get up into a bridging position and then slowly extend my legs and then bring them back. And slowly extend my legs and bring them back. So what I'm doing right now is I'm primarily eccentrically lengthening my hamstrings, and this gives you the same type of feel as a Nordic hamstring curl without so much pressure on your knees. I find a Nordic hamstring curl, while effective, it really bothers my knees, and it does for many patients. And so I find this works much better and gives better activation with the glutes and the hamstrings at the same time. And you just want to do it nice and slow. You know, I didn't even count how many I'm doing. I'm just going to go based on feel, because I'm going to ride my bike for probably about 2.5 hours today. So I don't want to totally destroy my legs prior to that, but I do want them pre-fatigued with strength training. I find that a very effective way to get my legs in shape. Okay, so now I'm starting to get tired. Now the ball is starting to move away from me a little bit, so I'm just going to bring it a little closer to me. There we go. Pop back up and keep going. Just like this. Whew. Okay, that feels good. Now, 2 more exercises. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with standard calf raises. I'm going to just do them on the floor. Now some people will do them off a step, and that's totally fine. I don't have a step here, and actually it's not necessary, and I'll tell you why. Have you ever noticed who has the best, strongest calves ever of any sport? It's usually ballet dancers, who never really do exercises like a bodybuilder. They do exercises off the floor, constantly getting on their toes and exercising their feet. So what I find is that that's all that I really need. And I'm just gonna pump out some calf raises, and then I have one exercise that I'm gonna show you afterwards so you can see exactly how I'm getting a quick and easy leg workout that's easy to do, doesn't take a long period of time. For this, I'm gonna take my shoes off, and I'll show you what muscles we're using here. These are the first ones. I'm using the big calf muscle here. The second one is I'm using a muscle underneath, and I'll show you how that exercise is done. So I simply stand up nice and straight, get up on my toes. Very simple, just like this. And when I do this, I'm focusing most of the pressure on my big toe. I'm not going on the outside of my feet, not like this. I'm going on my big toe, pushing through the big toe. There's a couple of reasons for this. And the reason is, number one, because you're strengthening a muscle called called the flexor hallucis longus, which is primarily used for push-off. The second is I have a history of Morton's neuroma, and that sucks because the outside of my foot will hurt if I do too many of these on the outside. So I focus through the big toe, and it really doesn't give me that much trouble. So right now, I'm using my big muscle, the gastrocnemius, the thing we think of as the calf. Now, as I start to fatigue, I'm going to change the position of my body, and then it'll start working a muscle underneath the calf that is primarily used when your knee is bent. So it's starting to fatigue. I'm going to knock out a little bit more until I start to feel really that burn that I love to feel. I'm going to do about 3 more here. Okay, and then immediately what you do is you bend the knees and try to get your weight over the back of your heels so there's some weight. If you're leaning too far forward, then it's just too easy, and then you're going to get on your toes. Again, going through the big toe, and you'll feel this in a totally different spot, generally underneath the soleus, but where I'm feeling it is right on the side here rather than the back. Okay, I'm getting tired. So, you guys ready for the other exercise? This is one made famous right now anyway by a guy called Knee Over Toes Guy, but it's been an exercise for a long time for things like shin splints and various things. But the concept is this. Let me put my shoes on. That you would never work just your triceps and never work your biceps. You would never work your hamstrings and not work your quads. Well, why do we work the back of our calf and not the front of our calf? Let me get a wall here, because now I'm going to show you this really cool exercise. Now here, what you're going to do is you're going to lean about 45 degrees up against the wall, and then you're going to raise your big toe above, and what you're doing is you're working the front of your shins, called the tibialis anterior. Sometimes I'll just kind of lean forward a little bit to get a little bit of more leverage, and I'll do this to fatigue. Now, the great thing about all these exercises is that it requires minimal to no equipment other than the gym ball. You'll notice I do 1 set, and that's the secret. I don't make a big deal about this. I'm not going to spend an hour in the gym lifting weights. You do 1 set. Today I'm not doing it to failure, but you can do it until you can't do another rep. And very often, this is a great way to start with calisthenic or resistance training. That's very easy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your comments down in the comment area. Duh. And do all the YouTube stuff. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff.